Surgeon. S75. You got it. We've got a top floor fire rescue. Initially, we had reports of kids trapped on the roof of the building.
Okay, 10-4. We already got all hands. We got 4-second floor through the roof. Every fire unit. All hands operating 98239 Avenue, Sumter Boulevard. All hands 98239 at Sumter.
262 to Queens. 262? Yeah, we have a four-story multi-dwelling fully involved. We have people on the roof, notified the trucks coming in. Still heavy smoke condition, heavy fire. Fire still remains down, okay?
All right, everyone, please stand by. We got lots of fires. We got lots of activity going here tonight.
To many people outside the fire service, the understanding of Chief Croker's quote is difficult. To firefighters, it is a very deep and meaningful selection of words. To truly comprehend and perceive that quote, one would actually have to live the life of a firefighter. The true spirit of these individuals has made the Fire Department of New York one of the best firefighting forces in the world. Although generations of firefighters have come and gone since that quote was written, today's firefighters are still called the bravest, for they uphold the very meaning of what Chief Edward F. Croker wrote. It is indeed a noble call.
Second alarm, box 2980.
On a daily basis somewhere in the city, firefighters are confronted with the results of today's urban decay. Buildings are old and overcrowded. Many hundreds are left abandoned. The risk of fighting fires in many of these buildings is beyond description. Heavy fire on arrival is not an uncommon sight. These fires are not caused by overheated electrical wiring or careless smoking in bed. They are a result of arson. These buildings, although considered totally unlivable to most, have become home to the city's misfortunate. Drug dens for the addicted and for the firefighter, an added danger to their lives.
A crackhead, he was just smoking crack, right? And then he just dropped a glass, and then it just started rising. Then fire just started popping out of nowhere.
It started flying.
Then it started
going up to the
spreading off
real quick. And the fire started, and we saw all these crackheads coming out from the back of the
So we ran and got the firemen.
We have 3 tower ladders in operation, 8 hand lines. Fire is darkening down.
10-4, status of the fire?
Still doubtful.
10-4, 17 item?
It's a vacant building. The fire started in the rear and it came up the whole back. It's collapsed in most of the interior, so we really can't put anybody inside the building. So we'll put an exterior operation. They use the saws to cut the wood off the front of the windows so the towel out of bucket streams can get in there and put out the fire. It's going to be a prolonged operation because the building's so dangerous. Okay?
Whether they are fighting a high-rise fire in Midtown Manhattan or a brownstone in Brooklyn, a frame in Staten Island, a taxpayer in Queens, or even a rundown apartment house in the Bronx, firefighters never complain or even admit the real dangers of their profession. They are a proud and dedicated group with a spirit unlike the common laborer, who, as crazy as it may be, love what they do.
It's probably a 3rd alarm by now. So we got here on the 2nd. We're operating in the throat for, what, about a half hour?
Seems like a little longer than that.
So they're going to get it knocked pretty good now because they're opening up the top floor. It's going through the roof and they're opening up, so it won't be too much longer.
It looked like it took a little bit of beat.
We were up for a pretty good time up there.
You like the job?
Oh, yeah. Great job. We want to do anything else.
Left, right, left.
Sixth grade, fire department in the city of New York. Sixth grade.
It all begins here. Boot camp, The Rock, Probationary Fire School. It is here that probies are provided with the basic firefighting skills, physical conditioning, and stamina needed to withstand the rigors of firefighting. Their instructors help them to develop the insight and mental awareness necessary to react instinctively under the most stressful, arduous, and trying conditions. Training to be a firefighter is a never-ending task. Firefighters are always learning. always striving, giving 120%, because in every instance, every situation, at every fire, brother will be depending on brother. So at the school, the rough edges are ground off, the fundamentals sharpened with constant practice, all with the expectation that in time and with experience, newly learned skills will mature into a professional art. In spite of all the training, no one will be fully prepared for all the tragedy and sadness to come, all the lives unsaved. The training merely introduces the fundamentals. It is up to the individual to develop positive mental attitudes to see them through difficult situations. At the Rock, the Probies are born into a brotherhood that is steeped in tradition. Later, in the field, they will be baptized by the cruelty of fire. When they leave the school, there are no breaking-in periods, no timeouts. There is not the luxury of making costly mistakes. Only at their very first fire will they begin to understand everything they were taught and what is still left to learn. Only then will they begin to understand the words of their Probie school instructors. Let no man say his training let him down. Every day in New York City, the firefighters in one area or another become confronted with the Red Devil. Within minutes of the alarm, truckies are opening up, engines are stretching lines, and the course of attack is being applied. Quick and decisive actions to control the situation. There is no time to sit back and think of your next step. A mistaken confusion in the eyes of the civilian, but a carefully planned attack for the firefighters. Decisions have to be made, and a combined effort of the forces on hand must be applied to bring the fire under control. Each company and each member counts on one another to use their skills and experience to bring the fire under control and change the course of destruction. Command decisions and communication to the units operating are a necessary part of that task.
I want a line in the supermarket.
Okay, 206 and then 260.
Who's next up? 206, give me a line in the supermarket, all right? Okay. 206. All right, we got 325, 259, and 292. We got 3 lines over here. Right. And we're going to bring in 206, right? Correct. Okay. All right, okay.
238 here too?
128. 1/4, 128. How deep is your store?
I think you were first.
All right, that means we got something behind here, right?
The best feeling a firefighter receives is the self-satisfaction that they accomplished what they set out to do. Locate, confine, and extinguish.
We have about a 100 by 100 one-story commercial building. We call them taxpayers. I guess the fire looks like it started in the, I really don't know right now. Looks like it might have started in the boutique. It got up in the cockloft, it went left and right. Guys forced entry, got in, knocked the fire down, pulled the ceilings down, cut the roof, and we stopped it from spreading to the building behind it. So we're going under control in about 5 minutes, as soon as I release some of the companies, okay?
The Bronx. There are 9 battalions, 31 engine companies, and 27 ladder companies that cover 42 square miles of a densely populated residential area of approximately 1.2 million people. Heavily damaged by the arson rage of the late 1960s and 70s, the Bronx today is still considerably busy. Although the Bronx is one of the smallest boroughs of the city of New York, it rates second in total fire incidents. Some of the world's busiest fire companies respond in this area of the city, fighting some of the most spectacular fires.
floor, partial extension to the 5th floor. We have one line stretch, second line...
One of the major vices of being a Bronx firefighter is the vacant building problem. There remain hundreds of vacant buildings barely standing from years of neglect, decay, and fire damage. Fires in these buildings are frequent, and to the brothers in the Bronx, arriving at a fully involved 6-story building is not uncommon. Slow and careful operations are required. Collapse is their major concern.
The place is all rotten. It's probably been vacant for 15 or 20 years. Dry rotted, weathered on. Not untypical of buildings in the Bronx.
Brooklyn, the highest in population of all the boroughs. There are 16 battalions, 66 engines, and 39 ladder companies that cover 73 square miles. The population, approximately 2.3 million people.
All hands operating box 935 with the address 532 Gates Avenue. Affirmative, they have been notified. Your rescue is coming from Fulton and Malcolm X also, by the way.
Presently, Brooklyn is a highly active borough and leads the city in the number of alarms, including structural fires. The borough contains a heavy mix of residential and commercial buildings. In recent years, Brooklyn, being as large in population as some states in the country, has seen many changes. An increase in fire activity in once quiet areas of that borough is on the move.
All we have is a small 1075 fire where we had the, looks like it started in the couch and just started rolling around the room. And the brothers came in, did a good job, knocked it down, made the search, found nobody. About to take up with history.
Certain neighborhoods in Brooklyn have been keeping the firefighters busy for many years. Areas such as Bushwick, Brownsville, and East New York have witnessed the same incendiary destruction as the Bronx. It's sad to say, but firefighters and their equipment are a common sight in these communities.
This is probably the work in this neighborhood in Brooklyn. The occupied structural fires that we have are probably the highest in probably in one of the parts of the city, mostly. Yeah. So the work in this area has maintained a steady pace.
1075, 854.
Fire in the kitchen, pretty good job, heavy smoke. We made a search of the bedroom for you, proved negative, no extension.
Although Staten Island is not the smallest borough in New York City, it has the least amount of inhabitants. Approximately 500,000 people are being protected by 3 battalions, 17 engine companies, and 12 ladder companies. Staten Island is mostly private dwellings, with some apartment houses and many taxpayers. It has more fire potential than ever before. When the Verrazano Narrows Bridge was built, the island had seen a drastic increase in their population. And of course, the fire duty increased. Since the island is completely surrounded by water, the units on Staten Island receive numerous distress calls each year for persons in the water. Rescue Company 5 of Staten Island has certified divers to handle these emergencies. Many people have been saved by these firefighters who risk their lives in the treacherous waters that surround that borough.
Units responding to the Pan Am Motor Inn. SIDS information available upon request. 46, you have 32 and rescue number 4, okay.
Queens, the largest in size of all the boroughs with a population of approximately 2 million people. Queens is protected by 9 battalions, 51 engine companies, and 29 ladder companies. Although a large percentage of the borough consists of private dwellings, apartment houses and taxpayers play a major role. Both major airports, Kennedy and LaGuardia, are protected by Queens firefighters. In the past 10 to 15 years, Queens bravest have seen a drastic increase in fire duty. Today, some Queens fire companies rank along with the busiest of Harlem, the West Bronx, and Brownsville. Queens is going through a change. The hope is to never witness another arson battle like the Bronx and Brooklyn. Queens is experiencing the overcrowding housing problem like other boroughs of the city. With the increase of immigrants, private dwellings in Queens are turning into illegal multiple dwellings. 5 or 6 families in what was a single-family home. Steel bars on windows making entry and egress almost impossible. In recent years, the Queens fire death rate has soared to outrageous numbers. Once a quiet suburb to the Manhattan skyline, Queens is now dealing with big city problems.
One order to 1023, your location at ladder 163 and engine 292.
10-4. This is 1023 at 3010. What battalion calling?
Manhattan, population over 2 million during the day. Fire service, 12 battalions, 44 engines, and 32 ladders. High-rises, lofts, tenements, theaters, cramped into 23 square miles. Midtown, Harlem, Chinatown, Inwood, Soho.
1-2, ask that woman how many people are supposed to be in this apartment.
Manhattan firefighters have faced some of the most serious and deadly fires ever fought in the city of New York. Although high-rise fires are not an everyday occurrence, they are known by firefighters to be the most serious. Large floor areas with oven-like temperatures are a difficult task for anyone to endure. With high-rise fires being a major concern to New York's bravest, they have truly become the experts in that field. Recently, FDNY celebrated their 125th year as a paid fire department. The celebration was labeled 125 years of tradition. Although the city, like many other things, has changed a lot since 1865, the firefighters traditionally have changed very little. They have gone from horse-drawn to diesel apparatus, from wooden to metal ladders, from bells to computers. But the spirit, dedication, the mission, and their bravery is a tradition that still remains today.
It's a very important moment for me. It's a lot of nostalgia. You think about 32 years that I was part of this service, and hopefully for another 4 or 5. And I just think of what happened and where we were and where we're going. And we look at all this apparatus, and you think of all the people that made up this department, what it all means to us. It's a very, very, very emotional moment for me.
To me, it means a great deal because I put 33 years in this department, so part of that history is mine. And the department itself is alive and well. We're doing well. We're progressing. And the people of the city of New York have an organization that can be very well proud of.
No matter what changes occur within or around the department, when the call for help strikes, the people of New York City know that the firefighters will be there.
The question is, someone asked me what it means to me to be a fireman in New York City. Well, to me, it's tradition. I have relatives that were in the fire department. I was a police officer before I was a fire department. It makes it kind of extra important to me because both of them are emergency services, but this to me is more rewarding. I love the New York City Fire Department. My family has been in it for many years. I love what we do, and I think that the people of the city of New York love what we do.
Well, firefighters are incredibly brave human beings because they know things that we don't know, and we have to learn the things that they know in order for us to survive. For example, we always believe that fires are nice and light and homey, and Robert Redford runs through the flames and picks up the furniture and he saves people. But in a real fire, when a firefighter goes into it, knowing what he's going to face, it's totally black. He can't see his hand in front of his face. The heat is so intense that if the firefighter stands up, it'll melt his helmet and burn the back of his head off. And he can die if that mask breaks or in any way becomes defective. In a fire, you really don't have any time. It's instant reaction. I mean, you just can't turn back. So you have a group of men here who may be sitting around a firehouse having fun and enjoying life to the outward appearance, but when they go into a fire, you put your life on the line every time. And that's the most scary thing that you can face. So when they call them the bravest, you got to buy it, because if you know anything about fires, they are the bravest.
Give us an additional engine and truck. We got 95 building with people above the fire.
Extra engine and truck, occupied building, people trapped above the fire. The choice words the officer in charge uses to let the dispatcher know the urgency of the request. Companies on the scene are already heavily involved. 6 stories, 20 or more apartments, maybe 100 or more people, and a good fire. Aggressive interior attack is the necessary plan to combat the existing situation. The firefighter on arrival must know what is vital to change the course of destruction. Their primary objective is to save lives, with the indisputable factor that their own life is at risk. Rushing in while others are trying to get out, beating the Red Devil, and at the same time doing it without loss of life or serious injury is the firefighter's goal. They are prepared for the worst. Last year, the brothers battled over 2,000 working building fires in New York City, about 5.5 working fires a day. New Yorkers know you can always count on the firefighters to be there when called.
When we pulled up, the fire was blowing out about 3 floors. Right from the first floor on up, people were hanging out all the windows, and made it up to the roof, took the bulkhead door, and saw that looked like the interior stairs were torched. The whole thing was scorched all the way up. The window frames were going, and there were people all coming out the rear.
On arrival at the building, we had heavy fire blowing up the face of the building and up the interior stairs. Numerous people on the fire escapes. It was only through the efforts of the men that nobody got killed at this fire.
1-8 to Division 7K.
It's amazing.
Okay, we found a lot of black spotting up, going up the pipe recesses of the 3rd floor. We've opened up the ceiling, and we're going into the line. There's no visible fire or anything. Recommend under control.
Right, 10th floor. The fire is apparently an arson fire. The marshals have a suspect that they're hunting down. He's previously set fires to motorcycles in the same building. Fire went up the hallway, burnt through a door on the 3rd floor, got into that apartment. It got into several apartments. Heavy smoke condition. And again, it's a miracle nobody was killed.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Honorable David N. Thinkins.
Thank you very much. As mayor, it is my privilege to represent the people of our city as the Fire Department of New York salutes the bravest and the best of the bravest. I'm pleased and proud to add my voice to the chorus of praise and tribute to the gallant firefighters of FDNY, the men and women who proudly serve in the greatest fire department in the world. For the medals earned and bestowed at this ceremony, there were in fact at least 80 persons rescued from fire, a building collapse, drowning, or some other imminent danger by these medalists. Yet when I think of the 80 we were able to save, my thoughts still go back yet again to the 87 we were not able to save. They died on the 26th of March at a misnamed place called the Happy Land Social Club. With even more vicious irony, they died in the third worst fire in New York City history, on the anniversary date of the second worst fire at the infamous Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. In the early hours of that morning, a fire was set, apparently deliberately and maliciously set, on the first floor of that club. Within minutes, the Happy Land Social Club had become a place of unspeakable horror. For 87 people trapped inside, there was no escape. I've been in public life for a quarter century. I've had occasion to witness many tragedies. But the sight of that fire is perhaps the single most tragic thing I have ever witnessed. The sight of those bodies lined along the walls like so many wax figures, and the realization of the panic and the pain they must have suffered in their last moments will remain with me for the rest of my life. As will my endless admiration for the women and men of this department, who again and again hurl themselves into such deadly situations. So I'm here today to join in bearing witness to the bravery of these firefighters. I'm here to thank you all on behalf of each and every New Yorker for all you have done and all you are doing for us. And I'm here to express my fervent wish that God watch over you and your families. In this audience today is Alicia Ann Cruz. Cruz was aboard U.S. Air Flight 5050 when it crashed on takeoff at LaGuardia Airport last September 20. She wanted to come back here today to see the man who rescued her from the wreckage, the man who saved her life. She wanted to see her hero receive the James Gordon Bennett Award, the oldest and highest award for valor that the department gives. May I ask that Mrs. Cruz join us up here as Lieutenant Gerard Merther receives the first of his awards today. It is my honor, sir.
I am honored and pleased to be able to be here with Jerry to present him with my award, for he is my hero. This award says, presented to Jerry Murtha, my hero. Everlasting thanks for your bravery and heroism in rescuing me from Flight 5050. Because of you, I am alive today.
Medal Day, it's just a great day. It's a day that we reflect on what a lot of firefighters have done throughout the year. I'm just one of the lucky guys that are getting recognition, but there's 10,000 other guys that deserve the pat on the back like everybody else does.
Our next medal, the Emily Trevor Mary B. Warren Medal, is awarded to firefighter Michael J. Milner of Rescue Company 4. This medal is awarded for his heroic actions at great personal risk in the rescue of a trapped woman from a plane crash in Flushing Bay near LaGuardia Airport.
The medal to me is a lifelong dream, and I have to say that because of officers I've worked with and firemen that have helped me, has made this possible for me today, and I'm not only quite proud of myself, but everybody that's worked with me has helped me to make this day for me.
Our next award is the Dr. J.W. Goldenkranz Medal, this year awarded to firefighter Daniel M. Monahan of Ladder Company 38. Firefighter Monahan effected the rescue of an unconscious woman from an all-hands fire at 2081 Washington Avenue in the Bronx on December 7th, 1989.
Today was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. It's just too bad everybody else in the fire department can't be honored like this. I can't ask for anything more than have this happen to me today.
Our next award is the Walter Scott Medal, this year awarded to firefighter William H. Quick of Rescue Company 4. Firefighter Quick performed his heroic act at great personal risk at a building collapse at 1509 First Avenue, Manhattan on December 6, 1989.
He just complained that his right shoulder was hurting a little bit. You know, he goes, my right shoulder, it's severe pain. You know, just try to get me out as fast as you can. I said, Jimmy, run away, we're trying. Like I said, I felt bad. I had to tell him every 10 minutes. The 10 minutes kept going longer and longer. If we worked fast, the whole thing would have came down on top of us, and then we would have been trapped.
Bless these brave and courageous firefighters whom we honor today. We live in a world with so much selfishness and mediocrity. Let the inspiring, heroic, life-saving acts of our firefighters focus our attention on the most noble deeds that daily surround us. Their acts of heroism are a striking testimony to the great qualities of the human spirit. May their bravery bring credit and admiration to themselves, to this fire department, and to this great city of New York. And finally, Lord, grant that all of us may realize the great sacrifices at which our safety is assured. We ask you this in all love and humility. Amen.
Yeah.
Hey, morning, Billy. How you doing?
Yeah, ready to get right positions?
Yeah, you got the forcible entry irons, and I want you to check the forcible entry masks pass along. Something the matter with it.
Okay.
Check the oil in the hearse tool, the gas, and check the saws, because they were acting up. One of them was acting up.
One of the best parts of being a firefighter is the understanding that you are part of the team. Each individual has a function in the group. Whether it be in the firehouse or on the battleground, each firefighter has an assignment to complete. At a moment's notice, they go from 0 to 60 and are expected to perform to the utmost of their ability.
There we go. Engine, fill out 1075.
2803 Queens Boulevard.
Between alarms and firehouse duties, some of the firefighters may be upstairs studying for an upcoming promotional exam. Hard work and dedication are the efforts required to obtain those goals. Being a firefighter is a never-ending learning process.
Well, it's a commitment. You really have to put your time into it. It's something that's can't be taken for granted. Can't be lax about it. Most guys for this exam, they study 2 years. This is my second time around. So I try to put in as much time as possible. I mean, I just had my 4th child, and things are busy at home, so I take as much time in the firehouse to study, and
Now I'm coming in 2 hours before each tour and trying to plug in some time there. Definitely be worth it. I'll put the time in now.
Well, it's one of the proudest days of my career in the fire department. I certainly waited a long time for this promotion. I thought it would never come, and I was like very anxious, very nervous, right up until this morning. I mean, they gave us our badges on Monday. They told us we could go exchange badges and ID, but I said, I won't believe it until they ask you to raise your right hand and they swear you in, because, I mean, there were many, many hours I just sat down and read and didn't talk to anybody, but it's a really good day.
The most outstanding characteristic of this rare group is hard to explain or show. The brotherhood, the camaraderie, and the love of their profession are what the common man will never understand. They are truly today's last American heroes.
I'm glad I'm here in Brooklyn. My father was a fireman for about 31 years, and he worked in Brooklyn and Ladder Company 108. And I feel it's like a family tradition on the job. To me, this is the best job in the world. And I really enjoy being a fireman and helping the people around here. And that gives me the greatest satisfaction in the world, is helping people. And I believe everybody on this job gives 100%, even more.
One night in December, I was working a night tour and was bringing this little girl down a ladder. She was about 4 years old. She was hugging and squeezing my neck. I mean, it was a very serious fire. Once I brought her down to the bottom of that ladder, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Children are special. All people are special. The job of a firefighter is special. It's not a job, it's a career, it's a calling.
So remember, when you see a group of firefighters on the street or shopping for their meal, keep in mind that their commitment to the neighborhood they protect is real. They are always there when you need them.
I think firemen are the most professional, unique people in the world because in any kind of emergency situation, they help they help you quicker than any kind of police or any other emergency service that we have in New York. Because I mean, one time I had had a big gash on my head. They came first. It was just unique because of firemen is they're just there when you need them. They're more they're like equipped like EMS. And they take care of the scene like the police, but they're, it's just put in the middle. But I think they should be put on top, though. That's the way it should be. They should be put on top.
I've seen a lot of films about the fire department over the years, and a lot of them are really interesting. And it's nice to see, you see the flames coming out the window, and they show the film in the firehouse. And they look like a lot of nice guys just hanging around, kidding around, who get along real well. We eat, and everybody thinks of us like that. But I don't think anybody has really any idea what it means to be a fireman and be inside a fire building, putting out a fire. You can't explain that. It can't be done, and I don't even know if you could get it on film. It's a unique experience, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't happen all the time. We wait around a lot, and people see us that we don't do a lot, but when we do that, it's very unique. And I don't know how you would be able to describe it. And that's what we're really all about. Not just a lot of happy guys, which we are, because we like what we do. But it's really putting out fires.
Knows where
It's a long, long